Hello everybody, KT here with Wise Images Photography, and today I want to talk to you about a wonderful new product by Dehancer. It is the desktop application for a film-like emulation program. I've been using their plugin for about a year now, and I like what the program can do, but it was a little bit cumbersome. And now they actually have a separate application for their film emulation, and this has definitely sped up the process. There is a little bit of a learning curve there, but I am going to go ahead and go over what I like and what I don't like about the program. So let's get going. All right, so the first thing I want you guys to see is they have a wonderful quick start. Now, to launch it and get it all set up to go is very easy. Going over that quick guide will be very, very helpful because it really goes into what each individual setting is. But I say it's a quick start guide, but it's 84 pages long. So anyways, when you open up the program, this is what it looks like. Over here on the far left-hand side, it kind of doesn't have much to it. You're kind of going, okay, where do I go now? The cool thing is all your folders are going to be over here to the left, and what you're going to do is you'll scroll down and find whichever one you want to work on. So I'm going to go ahead and I set up a folder specifically for this video here, and you can see that I have all of my wonderful photos inside the program. And then you can always rate them. So the way you rate them, before I even go into that, you have your folders, you can set up projects, you can show or not show the panels there. You have different settings and preferences over here. You can show and hide effects, you can export. Basically over here you can rate the different ratings for whatever you want. And apparently this is all a cloud-based system, so it's, I don't know how it really works quite frankly, but it allows everything to be kind of in a cloud system, and that's about as far as my expertise goes on that. Now let's say, for example, if I wanted to go ahead and look at this photo and I wanted to go actually through this folder, I could go ahead and click on it and then hit my space bar, and what that allows me to do is it sees a much bigger picture now. And then what I'm going to do is I can go ahead and flip through with my arrow keys. Now I can rate it, and this is one of the things that I did not like about this program is when it comes to rating, I actually have to use my mouse to go ahead and click on a particular picture if I liked it or not. And then if I didn't like it, it is a little bit like I have to go back to the main screen, I have to right click, and then I have to reset the rating if that was a mistake that I made. So it's a little bit cumbersome there with the extra clicks. But I do like the fact that I can go through my folders now with Dehancer, and I don't have to put everything into Lightroom, and then I can go through and I can start picking my photos. So that is one aspect that I definitely like about the new program. All right, so after I've gotten done with picking which photos I actually wanted to work on, this is the cool thing about it. You can either select things where you have just your JPEGs, your TIFFs, your PNGs, maybe just your RAW files, or maybe you just want to go ahead and work with the ones that are starred. So I can go ahead and unclick no rating because I know that I went ahead and rated all of them, and these are the ones that I rated. I can go ahead and Control A, it selects all of them, and I have different options here. I can either create a project, or I can just go straight into editing. And I already separated it out into its own little project already, so I'm just going to go ahead and edit it here. When I come into here, I can always come over to the left-hand side and just pick the presets. You can tell that it is taking a little while to go ahead and load up. That is okay. It may take a little while to load up. I got multiple things running right now. So you can have all your film presets. You can also make snapshots. So as you're working through this, if you wanted to try out different film stocks on different individual photos, you can, and you would make it as a snapshot. Again, you have your preferences. You can hide your panels. You can hide the film strip. You can also show or hide your panels that are over here on the far right. My favorite preset so far has become this Fuji Chrome Velvia 50. This has been my most favorite preset. I have just absolutely fallen in love with it. So this shows you before and after. This button right here zooms you in from a 1:1 ratio. This button right here will show you your inspector or take it away. This button right here will show you if anything is clipping. And right now, I have nothing clipping on this particular image. If you want to reset your edit, you can click this button and it will reset everything for you. You can export your images here, and this is the one thing that I am going to say about exports real fast that I don't like. I don't like the fact that I cannot rename my images, and also too, there's no easy way to add a watermark to my images for social media. So that was something else that I really didn't particularly care for. But when you do go ahead and export images, it takes about, at least on this computer, it took me about 5 minutes for about 20 images to export. Now, once you do go ahead and add some type of editing to these particular images, you do need to go ahead and click apply for your changes to be stuck onto these images, so to speak. Over here on the far right hand side, this is where you can add in your customization. There's a little bit of a lag whenever I adjust something. Now, I will say that I had another computer. It was dying on me, it was on its last leg, and I just recently upgraded my computer, and I went from something that was like 16 gigabytes of RAM to a computer that has 30 gigabytes of RAM with its own dedicated RAM for the graphics card. If you have a newer computer with more capabilities, the program is going to respond a lot better. Moving right along, you can come in here, you guys can absolutely, the more you read that 84-page quick guide, the more you will learn about all these different settings, and you can adjust them accordingly. So there is lots of customization here. But what I'm going to jump down to is I'm going to jump down to film grain. I can go ahead and move it over to 40. It gets a little bit more film grain. I can change the amount over here. So it's nice because you can really customize it to what you want it to be. And as you could tell, there was a little bit of a delay to get it there. This is way too much for me, so I'm gonna go ahead and bounce everything back down. And here is one suggestion that I would make to Dehancer. I can't just click on this number and change the number, and I don't like that because sometimes I want things to be a very minute little change. I might just want it right on 2.05, but it's harder for me to use and grab this slider and get it to right where I want it to be. So it would be nice if I could actually click on this number and then change it. But that's just a minor tweak that I personally would like myself. You have those wonderful tools that you may not see in other programs like halation, bloom, and also here we have film damage. I love having a little bit of film damage in it. With that being said, sometimes I don't like where the film damage ends up at. I'm gonna go ahead and up this more just so that we can see it. Sometimes the damage shows up in places where I don't like the damage to show up. So I like seeing the damage in certain parts, but other parts I don't want to see the damage. So it'd be really cool if we had some type of cleanup tool so that way if the damage did end up in a location that we didn't like it, we would have that option to go ahead and change it. The other thing that I don't like about this program, and one of the cons that I would say, is that it doesn't have masks. But I heard that masks are on the way. Here's the workaround that I found for masks, because a lot of times I like to darken down parts of the picture to guide your eye to where I want your eye to go. Now, if you go to the right with the exposure and give it a positive exposure, it's going to make a very bright vignette like this. If you go to the left and you go negatively with your vignetting, then it's going to make a darker image. And now you can see that there's a lot of darkness around and you have a little bit of light. Now, how I figured out, because as you can see, everything is kind of in the middle. If you look at this picture as if it was an X going left and right, or a Y axis, you can actually change the position of this particular vignetting. So just like if you were to look at a coordinate plane, for example, you know that the negative numbers are on the left positive numbers on the right. This is exactly how this slider works. So if I go more over here to my left, you're going to see this bright spot. It's going to come further over to the left, and my right side is going to be darker. So the X and Y axis does work correctly. Now, the Y axis, normally when we have a Y axis that goes up and down, we normally say that the positive is on the top and the negative is on the bottom. Watch this, you guys. I'm going to put this Y axis in the positive, and what's going to happen is it's actually going to come down here to the bottom, which I don't know why that is, but that is okay. So once you learn it, then you know, right? So if I went to a negative number, the bright spot is actually going to go ahead and move up towards the top. But as you can tell, the birds are more in the middle, so I'm a little bit lower than where the actual X and Y axis would be, so I'm going to drop that down just a little bit. Now my birds are in shot, okay? All right, so that is basically my workaround for the mask issue. Next up, let's go ahead and let me tell you guys the best part about this program. And this is what I love over the old plug-in program. Before, you had to go one photo at a time, editing painfully, one photo. Now, you look down here in this film strip, I right-click, and I go apply to film strip. It's going to apply to every single one. Now that I've done that, I would say that you probably would want to adjust each vignetting on each photo individually, because your subject is going to be in a different spot, but you guys get the general idea here. Lastly, what I want to go ahead and say about this Dehancer application, desktop application program is, overall, I love it. The more I've started to play with my images and put my images into a film emulation product, the more I'm falling in love with film, okay? The other cool thing about Dehancer is they gave me absolute creative control over whatever I put in this video. The other thing is Dehancer is very helpful. Whenever I had a problem, we were starting to become pen pals at one point, okay? And they were very, very patient with me. The other thing is they listen to their creators. They listen to those who are using this product. And as soon as I mentioned masks, I was told right away, we're working on that. So they are listening. So if you ever give them a review, or if you ever tell them that there's something that you would like with the program, I know that they're going to listen, because they really understand their clientele and they want to help their clientele to be able to be the most creative that it can be. So despite the fact that there are some things in the program that I don't like, overall, I think I like it. I love it. It's a lot faster, because now I can pick a group of the photos that I want to put the film emulation on. Boom, it can be done in a matter of seconds, and I love that. So, hey, if you guys like a discount, go ahead and use my code, DehancerKT. I will make sure that I write that information below or put it somewhere on the screen. Hey, if you have been using this product, tell me, what do you think about it? What do you like? What do you not like? Drop your comments below for me. And you know what? I hope you guys have an awesome day. You guys are awesome. I'll see you later, alligator.